Hello everyone, and welcome to this detailed explainer. If you're a geography enthusiast, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're not talking about mountains or rivers. We're zooming in on the lakes of the Indian subcontinent. We're going to break down these incredible geographical marvels into clear, bite-sized categories so you can lock them into your memory for good. Let's get right to it.
Okay, here's our game plan. We're dividing India's lakes into 4 groups: freshwater and saltwater extremes, coastal lagoons, unique and mysterious lakes, and finally, artificial and high-altitude lakes.
Section 1. Freshwater and saltwater. We're starting off with the extreme inland opposites here. I really want you to anchor these 2 lakes in your mind based on what they're famous for. Take Wooler Lake in Jammu and Kashmir. This is officially India's largest freshwater lake. The Jhelum River pumps fresh water right into it. Then, totally flipping the script, we have Sambar Lake in Rajasthan. This lake has the highest salinity in all of India. It is literally so salty that it's a massive hub for commercial salt production. So remember, Wooler is your fresh provider and Sambar is your salt producer. Let's stay up north for a second. In Srinagar, you've got Dal Lake. It's world famous for those gorgeous wooden houseboats and floating shops. You can actually buy local goods while bobbing right on the water. Then, heading east into Ladakh, there's Pangong Tho. You've probably seen its stunning blue waters in movies. But it's also highly strategic because it sits right on the border with China. We've also got Unchar and Nagin lakes up there, which are absolutely vital to the local ecosystem.
Moving down to Uttarakhand and Rajasthan, I've got a fantastic little cheat code for you. Notice how so many lakes in Uttarakhand end in Tal? You've got Nainital, which is famously known as the Lake District, along with Bhimtal and Rakshastal. If you ever see Tal in a geography test, Uttarakhand is almost always your best bet. Over in Rajasthan, it's not just salt. Sure, you have major salt lakes like Didwana and Panchpadra alongside Sambar, but you also have Naki Lake in Mount Abu. That's the highest freshwater lake in the state, and it holds a lot of cultural significance.
So, just to recap real quick, Wooler is the ultimate freshwater anchor, and Sambar is the saltwater giant. Dal gives us the houseboats, Nainital is the king of the tall lakes, and Naki is our high-altitude freshwater anomaly in Rajasthan. Got it? Awesome. Section 2. Coastal lagoon lakes. We're moving from the inland extremes right out to the edges of the subcontinent.
Now, before we name drop, what exactly is a lagoon? Basically, it's what happens when ocean water pushes into the land and gets trapped. Sand barriers, reefs, or barrier islands build up and block that seawater from flowing back out, creating a shallow, saltwater lake right on the coast. And India's coastline has some absolutely massive ones.
The undisputed king of the lagoons is Chilika Lake in Odisha. This isn't just the largest lagoon, it is the largest lake in India, period. It sits right at the delta of the Mahanadi River, where the Bay of Bengal pushes inward. It's so enormous and well protected that the Indian Navy actually uses it as an active training center. Further down the east coast, straddling Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, is Pulicat Lake. This is our second largest lagoon. But get this, right in the middle of Pulicat Lake is an island called Sherihorikota. And if you follow space news, you know that's home to the Satish Dhawan Space Center. Yep, India's only satellite launch facility sits on an island inside a lagoon.
Now, 97 kilometers. Take a second to really picture that distance. That is the astonishing length of Vembanad Lake in Kerala. Thanks to that massive stretch, Vembanad is India's longest lake. It's so huge it wraps around entire islands, like Wellington Island, and it's the famous venue for those incredible traditional Kerala boat races.
Vembanad might be the longest, but Kerala is packed with these coastal waters. You've got Ashtamudi Lake, which is so ecologically vital that it's protected internationally under the Ramsar Convention. There's also Periyar Lake inland. Oh, and here's a massive pro tip for your exams. In the local Malayalam language, these coastal lagoon areas are referred to as kayals. Remember that word.
Let's do a rapid-fire review. Chilika in Odisha, biggest overall, Navy base. Pulicat on the border, space launches. Vembanad in Kerala, longest lake, king of the Kayals. Ashtamudi, internationally recognized wetland. All right, let's move on to the really weird stuff.
Section 3. Unique and mysterious lakes. This is where geography gets a little wild. We're talking anomalies and some genuinely dark secrets.
Let's kick this off in Manipur with Loktak Lake. This place is unbelievable. The surface of the lake is covered in these massive, thick, floating mats of soil and vegetation. They're so dense that they actually formed Cable Lamjau, which is officially the world's only floating national park. And living on this floating park is the endangered Sungai deer. Because the ground literally shifts and bobs under their hooves, it looks like they're dancing. Hence the nickname, the dancing deer.
To get our heads around the next one, we need to know what a crater lake is. Usually, lakes form slowly over time, but a crater lake is born out of pure destruction. It happens when a volcano collapses into a caldera, or when a massive meteorite violently slams into the earth and leaves a giant scar. And that kind of cosmic impact is exactly what created Lonar Lake in Maharashtra. About 50,000 years ago, a huge space rock crashed into the ground. The crater eventually filled with water. Because of that crazy extraterrestrial origin and the local basaltic rock, the water is super alkaline. And the weirdest part? Sometimes, thanks to a specific type of microbe, the entire lake mysteriously turns a vibrant, glowing pink.
If a pink meteorite lake isn't mysterious enough for you, how about Rupkund Lake in the high Himalayas of Uttarakhand? It's famous worldwide as Skeleton Lake. Back in the 1940s, people found the bones of over 500 human skeletons scattered all around and inside this frozen lake. Modern studies point to a sudden, absolutely lethal hailstorm that wiped out a group of pilgrims over 1,000 years ago. It is literally an ancient tragedy frozen in time.
Section 4, Artificial and High-Altitude Lakes. Let's wrap up our tour by looking at extreme heights and incredible human engineering.
I've got a quick pop quiz for you. We've seen all these natural wonders, but we humans are pretty good at moving earth and water too. What is India's largest artificial man-made lake? Any guesses?
The answer is tied to this massive number, 10.6 billion cubic meters of water. That is the staggering capacity of the Govind Ballabh Pant Sagar in Uttar Pradesh. Formed by the monumental Rihand Dam, this absolute marvel of engineering takes the crown for the largest artificial lake in the entire country.
And finally, the highest of the high. Up in Sikkim, we have Cholamu Lake. This is the highest lake in India, but it's not just sitting there looking pretty. It's actually the birthplace of the mighty Teesta River, which flows down and connects to the massive Brahmaputra system. Over Himachal Pradesh, we also have Surjtal, braving the freezing elements right at the Buralacha Pass. Just absolute extreme geography.
Here is our final recap to lock these in. Loktak in Manipur is your floating park. Lonar in Maharashtra is the meteorite crater. Rupkund in Uttarakhand is the skeleton lake. Govind Ballabh Pant Sagar in UP is the artificial giant. And Cholamu in Sikkim is the highest peak lake. Boom! They're your anchors.
We have covered a ton of ground today, from super salty lagoons at sea level to frozen, skeletal waters way up in the Himalayas. So here's a thought to leave you with. If you were gearing up to make the next big geographical discovery in India, where would you start? Down in the coastal Kayals or up in those high mountain passes? Keep that curiosity alive. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.